So something that you need to do before you actually take your wood and affix it to the spoil board here is actually go through and measure it, okay? And you want 3 measurements. First measurement you want is the length. Second measurement you want is the width. And the third measurement that you want is the actual thickness of your stock. So for length and width, we'll pull out a tape measure. And I see, for example, that this is exactly 37 inches. I'll pull out a tape measure and I see that this is 3 1/4, which is 3.25. And last but not least, for my thickness, I'm going to use this, which is a digital caliper. And I'm going to go ahead and measure the thickness of the sock, which is 0.614. Now, those 3 measurements can be easy to lose. And so what I would encourage you to do is get a piece of painter's tape and actually just go ahead and write those measurements onto your stock. So we said it's 4.25 by 37 by 0.631. Now, what I would do next, this is not actually the piece of wood I'm going to mill, is I would go ahead and clamp this, okay? Additionally, what I need to do is actually from corner to corner, I need to draw a faint X, which is going to mark our 0, 0, 0 position. So I'm going to do my line in pen so you all can see it on the video there. You should do your line in pencil or something that you can eventually erase or sand off easily. I guess depending on your application. If you're going to paint it, maybe pen's acceptable. Okay. So what I did here is I did an X right here, which marks our 0, 0, 0. In V-carve, you can set up the 0, 0, 0 position in 5 different locations. So you can do it on this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner, or the exact center. For the introductory student, I find that the exact center is the easiest by far to do. So what we're doing here is we actually drove the machine over. We are roughly above the X, which marks our 0, 0, 0 position. And I'm actually going to start driving it down on the Z axis until I get pretty close. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch my speed over to the slow speed. Okay, and if I hold down the Z axis, you can see how much slower that spindle actually moves. Okay, and that is a good thing. What you do not want to do is you do not want to take that bit and jam it into the top of the wood. So what I'm doing here is I'm holding down on my Z axis or clicking on my Z axis and click in here. There. My piece of paper is actually clamped to the table with just a little bit of friction. And I know now what I can do is jump over into my Velocity CNC and actually tell the machine that this is where my piece of wood is and this is where I want my 0, 0, 0 to be on my particular piece of stock. So the next thing I need to do is I need to tell the CNC that I'm happy with it, and I need to tell it that, hey, this is where I'm going to position my wood. This is where the top of my piece of wood is, and I am about ready to go ahead and mill. To do that, I'm going to go to Program Coordinates in the top right corner. I'm going to click on Set, and then I'm going to click on Zero All. Okay. What that Zero All does is it's going to clear the machine, and it's going to say, hey, this is the point that I want you, bit, to start milling. And at this point, you need to stop, come find me, and I'm going to check that your settings are all correct before we actually run our toolpath. So we're going to click, sure you want to zero all program coordinates? Yep, okay. Click OK. And then we can actually start the milling process.